All right, so there is another incident that just took place yesterday involving a 15-year-old girl. Basically was dealing with the situation where there was this fight that broke out and the cop had to basically defend the person that she was actually going after in this incident. So I'm going to get into a little bit of the details of this situation, get into why this was justified in this particular instance here as well. But before I do, just a quick reminder to like this video, to subscribe to the channel. But the best way you can help me out here is to share this video. So let's get into a little bit about what's going on here. So just a bit of the article, just to understand a little bit of the context behind this. This is involving a teenage girl. She was shot by police officer on Tuesday afternoon in southeast Columbus. Officers were called to the 3100 block of Legion Lane, and this was at 4:30 for an attempted stabbing. That's very important here because the media does not want to focus on this fact. They're going to do everything in their power to ignore this entirely. So within moments of the officers arriving, an officer-involved shooting occurred. Family at the scene said that the victim is 15-year-old MaKhia Bryant, and then the body cam footage was released later, and it was showing everything here. Now, the body cam footage was released very quickly by the police department, which tells me that they felt like everything was justified, and of course, it is justified as well, and I'm going to show you why. So here is the actual video of this. So first of all, we're going to kind of just watch through in full speed, and then the ending portion of this is going to have a kind of a slow motion version of what's going on here. So let's check out and see what's going on and see if we can pay attention to what the officer is saying and the actual total scene and what's happening here. What's going on? Now, first of all, before this even goes on, you hear the officer arriving on the scene and he's asking, what's going on? What's going on? Because even for him, I think that there was a call that was happening. Maybe, I'm assuming somebody that was black actually probably called 911 on this situation. I highly doubt they just rolled up there randomly. But he's already trying to assess the situation at this point. Hey, get down, get down. So that was about 4 orders of getting down, by the way. And of course, you have people on the scene that are freaking out, of course, because they don't understand exactly what happened. You have this one guy in the back. It's like, she's a kid, man, all this stuff like that. It doesn't matter. When he got on site, are you expecting him to know how old this person is? Like, what are you supposed to ask? Like, oh, let me see your ID first before I shoot you. Like, no, what we need to look at is what is actually taking place. So let's take a look at the slow motion of this. Skip a little bit ahead here with what actually took place. Number one, instances to take away. First of all, he was trying to assess the situation because he was asking, what is going on? What's going on? Nobody told him what was happening. Then he automatically sees this girl here, and we're going to kind of go through this a little bit. You see them fighting. Now you see her push this other girl to the ground, first of all. Now at this point, it's like, what is actually happening? Why are people getting pushed down to the ground at this point? He's still assessing what the situation is and everything. So you already have somebody that's being put in danger because this person is being extremely violent. And then he pulls the gun out at this point, and if you were listening to the audio portion of this at first, you heard him say, get down, about 4 times. Now, watch very closely here. At this point there, it's kind of hard to see. Right here is a knife that she is getting ready to use on this other girl here in the pink. There he goes. Now you can see it right there. There's the knife. So at this point, when you are in danger of the life of this other girl, it is the officer's obligation to protect the other people around them. Now, if you know anything about general wounds and things like that, you'll know that actually a knife wound is significantly worse in many situations than a bullet, because a bullet can maybe pass through you or whatever, but a knife oftentimes winds up rupturing other organs or who knows what. So at this point, this officer's gone into the mindset of, I'm here to protect this other girl here. And when he sees this knife, that is justification to do that. Now, what the real story is, the real story behind all of this is that if you're watching closely, unless you haven't already noticed, the media is going to run this as a situation where officer kills this sweet girl. They already have statements from the mother, which of course is going to say nothing but the best things about her. Of course, no sweet girl on planet Earth or any good person is going to be pulling a knife on somebody randomly like this in an altercation. But you're going to have the media pushing this narrative. And what the headline should be saying is officer saves girl's life. That's what it should be. But because this is an instance of a white officer and a black victim, what they're trying to basically say is that it is automatically wrong no matter what. Now, let's keep in mind, once again, the police officers, from my understanding, were not there randomly. It's not like they just chose a random house to come to and there just happened to be this domestic dispute. I'm assuming somebody that, called the police on them and was also black as well. So if we know that already, then we know that, hey, if you don't want the police to come, let her just go ahead and stab people to death. What you're going to have, though, unfortunately, because of all the recent situations that have happened, is now police officers are going to be looking at these instances like this and saying, should I even bother? Should I even bother trying to save this girl's life? That's a bad situation to be putting these officers in at this point. You know what? But if you want it that way, then do it that way. Because that's what's going to happen, is that black people are going to be hurt by police officers not doing these types of things to protect people. Because they refuse to run these things by saying that this cop saved that girl's life or saved her from who knows what else. Because of this person wielding a knife, clearly getting ready to stab. It wasn't like she just had a knife. I mean, it is in the position of getting ready to stab. I mean, he shot her right in time to help save this girl from actually being hurt, harmed, or anything else like that. Look at that. Right there. So it was necessary for that to happen, for them to save the girl's life. And once again, what is the media's reaction from this girl? That's who I want to hear from. Is she the one that's sitting there saying, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Like, the officer should just let her stab me. I highly doubt it. But you're not going to hear from her. Oftentimes, that's what happens with these instances, is that you don't hear from the people that are actually the real victims of these crimes. And as a result, the media is just going to focus on her mother and her brother and all these other random people, but never the person that she was getting ready to stab at all. So once again, this is a justified shooting. There's no question about it. Anybody that's disputing this is literally just trying to ignore the facts or just caught in their feelings and upset about the situation because they just don't like it. But my thought is, stop having black people call the police, or just basically just let once again, let them run rampant. Let the crime go ahead and run in your neighborhoods, because the people that are going to be hurt most by this are black people in the first place. So with that being said, I thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.